What's happening, people? The Liverpool Prophet back again with more Liverpool related news. As per usual, you know the drill, people. You know the drill. Liverpool related content, Liverpool related news, Liverpool related transfers, everything to talk about right here on the channel. Now, there's been some breaking news and there's been some bad breaking news now. And then there's some news that I would say is worth talking about as well. So there's news on obviously Alexander Isak, Rodrygo, Fofana now potentially entering the mix, and how a certain someone could be key in the Isak transfer to Liverpool. Before we get into the video, guys, do remember to drop a like, a comment, and to subscribe to the channel. Please, that would make my day. So get a sub in, guys. Let's get into it. We'll start off with some bad news now. Unfortunately, I've seen a couple of reports, and it looks like that. Well, it's looking likely, should I say, that Rodrygo to Liverpool is not going to happen. Now, I don't see why it's not going to happen. I'll be totally honest. We need Rodrygo. After we let Lucho go, I think Rodrygo is the perfect person to come in and replace him. Now, I said if we don't get Rodrygo to replace Lucho, it's a downgrade, and I stand by that. I still think it's a downgrade. Now, I'm reading that Rodrygo's wages could be an issue, and I feel that's the problem here. I feel FSG might look at his wages and are looking at his wages and thinking he is too much to afford, unfortunately, and he's going to want too much weekly. That's a reason I think FSG have looked at it and kind of walked away from it, leaving us now with in a situation where we need a left winger for, so we aren't going to get Rodrygo, so we're now going to have to look elsewhere. And I'll be honest, it's a bit disappointing. It's very disappointing that we aren't going to end up signing Rodrygo. I was sure that this would happen after selling Lucho. I thought this was a no-brainer, but obviously the club feel he's too expensive and he's not worth the risk. So, unfortunately, guys, it looks like Rodrygo will not be joining Liverpool Football Club. That takes me on to my next point. We still need a left winger, and a name was emerged, which I think is probably likely to happen now, and that is Fofana. Now, Fofana, I'm going to be totally honest, I haven't watched much of him. I've heard of him. I've heard his name around. Haven't seen much of him. Is he an upgrade on Lucho? I highly doubt it. I'll be totally honest. I highly doubt that Fofana is going to be an upgrade on Luis Diaz. I think he's going to be a downgrade. But you know what? I'm looking at this in a different way now. With Lucho gone, I'd imagine Cody Gakpo will now become a starter on that left wing. So whoever we bring in as another left winger will kind of just be a rotation player. So I wouldn't mind Fofana now coming in as a rotation player. Not to be a starter, because I don't think he's good enough to be a starter. But I think Gakpo will be Arnestad's number one choice for the left wing. And I think as a backup to bring in, I wouldn't mind Fofana. I wouldn't mind bringing him in as a backup left winger. I'll be happy with that. I don't know about everyone else, but, I'll be happy with that. I feel if we had gotten Rodrygo would have been a starter. He would have come in, instantly replaced Lucho and been that starter. And Gakpo would have been riding bench. Now I feel, from the way it's looking, Arnestad prefers Gakpo for left side. And that's who we're going to see play. So, Fofana coming in as cover, I'll take it. He won't play much either way, so I wouldn't mind Fofana now coming in as cover. I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week. But yeah, Gakpo's going to be getting a lot more game time this season, it looks like. Obviously, last season, there was a lot of rotation between him and Lucho. Lucho probably played more games than Gakpo off the left. But now with Lucho gone, it looks like Gakpo will be getting a lot more game time. And that's great. I think that's a good thing. I think Gakpo will now be able to, prove himself to slot the club, the manager, and the club and fans a lot more now than he would have been last season. Is he a better finisher than Lucho? I think he might be a tad bit of a better finisher than Lucho. Although I still think Gakpo also needs to work on his finishing ability. I still don't think his finishing ability is up to scratch. So, Gakpo, more game time for him next season. He'll be a regular starter. We'll see where he does. We'll see how he does. Hopefully, we get a big season of him. He was good last season. Hopefully, this season we get an even better season of him. We'll see what happens on there. And we'll see what happens with Fofana too. We'll see where that leads. But one thing's for sure, we do need to sign a left winger to replace Luis Diaz. Whoever that is, we'll wait and see what happens, who it is, who we're going to bring in. I wanted to now move on to the big talking point of the transfer window, Alexander Isak. Now, look, as we know, our first official bid for Alexander Isak was rejected by Newcastle United. No surprises there. I said they were going to reject the first bid, and they did. 120 million. We went there, slapped 120 on the table. They rejected it. People are saying we're not going to go back in for a second bid. It's absolute BS. We are 100% getting that second bid already. I'd imagine the second bid is higher than the first bid, but you know what? I think the second bid will get rejected as well. I think Newcastle will look at it and try and play hardball, and they'll reject the second bid too. So it's going to be a difficult transfer to get over the line, 100%. Let's brace ourselves. Let's brace ourselves, Liverpool fans. But either way, he's going to join because they can't keep an unhappy player. Like I said, if a player is unhappy and he wants to leave, you've got to let the player go. And hopefully, Newcastle fans see that and they let Isak go. I doubt it though. I think they're going to try their hardest to keep the guy. Poor Isak, man. He wants to leave. He wants to better himself. And he's getting cooked for it. And, I see Newcastle fans giving Isak a lot of grief online. I'm seeing, can't wait for him to come back to St. James's and get two-footed by Joelinton. Now, to that, I'm going to say, where were all the rivals on this whole Newcastle fan and Isak saga? Where are all the rivals on the whole Isak situation and how Newcastle fans are going about it? Because I remember distinctively a certain fan base, being us, were getting absolutely grilled for our treatment on Trent. We were saying we were disgraced, we were ungrateful. Look at what he's done for the club. We should never have booed him. We got absolutely roasted by rivals. But Newcastle are doing the same thing to Isak, and I'm not seeing nothing about it. No talking, no calling them a disgrace. None of it. Where's the energy for Newcastle fans? Because they're doing the exact same thing we did. So why is the narrative different when it's Liverpool? Let's keep the same energy for them. Let's also call them disgraceful. Let's also say they're out of line because they are. Let's not just do that for Liverpool. Let's keep that logic for any club that does it. That's what I'm asking for, consistency of everyone, of rival fans. Anyway, moving on. Now, I read somewhere today, and I like this take, reading that Klopp could be important to us signing Isak. Now, we know Sesko is going to play a big part in the Isak thing. Newcastle are eyeing up Benjamin Sesko, who plays for RB Leipzig, the place where Klopp is obviously a sporting director. Now, I see United want Sesko, sorry. Now, he looks like he's more prone to going to United now over to Newcastle, which is a bit of a kick in the nuts for us. But could Jurgen Klopp put in a little nice word to Sesko? Could he say, you know what? I know United are a bigger club, but are they the best club to move to at the moment? No, Newcastle are a more stable club. They're going in the right direction. They're moving in the right direction. I think they are the better option for you. Could Agent Klopp do something here? Could we see Agent Klopp put a good word into Sesko, and Sesko does a 180 and goes to Newcastle? I think we could see it. Klopp helping out his old team, 100%, man. Agent Klopp, let's get it done. Let's get it done, Klopp, man. Come on, put in a good word with Sesko. Let's get Isak over the line. And Klopp will have seen this, obviously, the Isak stuff. And I'd imagine he's going to want to try his best and do his utmost to help Liverpool in getting Isak. Because obviously, he's a Liverpool fan. He's a closet Liverpool fan. He always will be. So, come on, Agent Ruff. Come on, Jurgen. Come in clutch for us, please. Push Sesko to Newcastle. Get that guy on the plane to St. James's. And let us go and get Isak. Listen, don't underestimate Klopp here. Klopp, when he speaks to a player, we know players have spoken volumes about how persuasive he can be. Don't put it past Klopp to have a little word with Benjamin Sesko and convince him, sway him to join Newcastle over Manchester United. And as a bonus, United end up in the mud. They end up with just Cunha and Bremo. So that's a bonus as well. So, Agent Klopp, people, what do we think? Is he going to come in clutch? Let me know in the comments. But guys, that is it for me today. I am going to head off. I'll be back very soon with more Liverpool related news. We'll see if the second bid for Isak comes in very soon. But I'll speak to you guys very soon. Up the Reds. Let's go. You'll never walk alone, people. I'll speak to you guys very, very soon.